All right. So this lecture is trying to give you a few basic tips on Winthrop registration. And there's also implicitly some kind of begin with the end in mind kind of productivity training. And there's a little bit of skill in terms of building some tables in Word or Google Docs. So it's a little bit of some applied stuff, but definitely trying to give you some tools to navigate Winthrop's registration. Okay, so there's four specific things that we're going to look at. One is doing a certain kind of search for courses that's based on a certain kind of class attribute. Doing a what if analysis in DegreeWorks. Getting a printed PDF of your DegreeWorks and annotating that. And then planning ahead by thinking in terms of the semesters you have left and planning out what you would take each of those semesters. That will help you keep on track, identify opportunities, that kind of stuff. Okay, so the class attribute search is this trick where you highlight all the subjects and then you highlight just one attribute and it'll show you, for example, all the global history, all the historical perspectives, all the global perspectives, all the classes in one specific category, like a gen ed category, that you want to get. So it's very useful if like you're registering late and you know you need something in global perspectives. You can go and look across all the different classes that would meet that requirement. And it also just gives you some other ways of looking at some kind of hard to find seats, trying to find seats that are open or seats. And the other thing is it gives you lots of different choices in any one of those attributes that you're trying to meet. All right, so here I'm at the course offerings search, and I'm just going to look for fall 22. And here's the trick. Put the cursor inside the subject field and then go Control A. Sorry, not Control A. You have to Shift and then hold and then pull down to highlight all of them. So I'll show that again. Okay, so hit the first one, then hit the Shift key and drag this down. Hit the last one, and then it highlights all of them. So the key there is using the Shift key to keep selecting until you get all of them. And then I'm going to come down here and come to Session Attribute Type. And I can come and select, say, Social Science. And I'll do a search on that. And then every single one of these classes meets the social science requirement. Let me give you another example. So maybe you wanted to go and select historical perspective. So I still have all these highlighted. I can come down here, hit class search, and it'll show all of them. Okay, so again, the trick is doing that Shift and then the dragging down. So just FYI, that works almost on any computer. Shift allows you to select a contiguous, meaning connected, set of items, whereas Control, you can select individual items that are not necessarily connected. So Shift and Control affect the way that you can select things in different platforms. All right, next step is inside DegreeWorks doing a what if analysis. So DegreeWorks, of course, is where you can look and see all the classes that you've taken and what classes you still need to take to meet different kinds of requirements. Sometimes people will think, I wonder if I could graduate faster if I switch majors or if I switch minors. Well, the what if analysis lets you do that. I'm going to use the example here of the social sciences as all right. The second thing we want to show is the what if analysis that can be done in DegreeWorks. So this is really helpful if you're thinking about changing majors or changing minors in a way to be more efficient in how your classes are utilized. So, for example, the social sciences minor is oftentimes a go-to for a transfer student that has a bunch of credits that aren't counting anywhere because the social science minor tends to count all kinds of what are traditionally gen ed kind of courses like history, poli-sci, psych, soc, etc. So it's very useful for meeting the minor requirement without having to take a lot of additional courses. Okay, so how does it work? So within DegreeWorks, you're gonna the normal mode is academic. Then there's the what if mode, and so you're going to click on the what if, switch from academic to what if, and then within that you get to set up a few things. You typically can just leave the catalog, year, and the rest of it as the default. You need to specify what the major and minor are going to be. So the major can change, or you can just keep it what it is. Say you're a psych major, we'll just keep it that. And then the minor, you can specify something new there. You can also keep your minor and then change what your major is, but all kinds of possibilities. Okay, then you hit process, and it's going to, I'm sorry, I'm just reiterating here. Usually it's the major and the minor that you're changing. But then once you generate the report, you can scroll down to where the new stuff is. It'll still give you all the gen ed and all the other stuff. So you need to scroll down to where you've changed something, and then you can see what's going on. So for this person, you can see it saying, hey, okay, you've got these 2 classes. They would count, but you would need to take 6 other general hours in the social sciences, and then 6 hours in the upper level, and then they're already completing the methodology requirement. So that's a handy tool to utilize. All right. Next, we're going to talk about getting your DegreeWorks analysis and then printing it out so you can manipulate it and work with it, and put questions on there, highlight things that you need to run down, etc. Oh, 2 reasons you might want to do this. It can make it easier for you to communicate with your advisor. You'd say like, hey, I'm not sure about this thing and this thing, and you could email it to them. It's also very helpful, I think, to have a record of it and to cross-check it against your degree checklist. Sometimes you'll find that you are trying to take a class in a certain area and count it in a certain place, and DegreeWorks has other ideas. So that cross-referencing, cross-checking can help catch errors or problems. Okay, so all you do is you go into your DegreeWorks, and then don't try to print it from your browser. The formatting will get all ugly. But within DegreeWorks itself, there's a little print icon up here at the top. Go click on that, and it'll tell you it's saving it as a PDF. That might confuse you, but printing as a PDF and saving as a PDF is the exact same thing. So anyway, it's going to save it as a PDF, and then that PDF is something you can manipulate and annotate with your PDF annotation software, for example, PDF Exchange. Okay, so here we have that PDF, and I've went ahead and blacked out my advisee's name, so I'm not breaking any federal law sort of thing. And then we'll just go through and we'll look at it. There's some annotations that are already coming from DegreeWorks, like this marked incomplete here. There's this large big section, which is relatively worthless. Graduation status, worthless. Okay, so Gen Ed, Area 1, there's not much to... This is a person that's fairly far along, so there's no real questions there. They've got this stuff done. That's done. Okay, so we get down here to the major. This is where we might start annotating stuff. So, all right, so here I've set up a red rectangle. That's the word I'm looking for. A red rectangle. And this is a little trick, but within PDF Exchange, if you click on it, go to Style Tools, and make current properties default, it'll save that setting, so it'll keep drawing red rectangles. But I might highlight that because it looks like I need to do that. Then I come down here and like, oh yeah, I need the senior capstone experience. It's got to be one of these 3 courses. I'm gonna have to do exit from the major. I've got cycle electives to do, so I still need 3 credits in one of these. Okay. And then I get down, I got a theater minor that looks done. And I can get down to the hours above 299, and I might say, okay, well, I've got 40 hours I need to get. I've got 30. Got to make sure that I can get there. Now, I've only shown part of this PDF printout. There's the part down below where you have all the courses that are going to count towards your 120. That can be helpful to look through that too. Sometimes you'll find a course in there that is not counting in one of the areas up above that you think it should. So that's a good thing you can check. But the short story here is I'm just going through annotating some things that I can then follow up with my advisor. But in general, you want to spend some time with this, working with this. And one of the things I want you to learn in this course is how to annotate a PDF. So this is one thing I'm going to have you practice that on. Okay, and then just to show you one last thing, in the assignment for this, I'm going to have you, excuse me, I'm going to have you type something in. So you can also type a note as if to yourself or to your advisor, but like, do I need to retake this class, for example. And then if you want to mess with that, you can make it bigger or a different color or whatever. Let's make it red so it stands out. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now I have this PDF that's saved with my annotations on it. All right, and then last, I want to kind of talk about 2 things here we're trying to accomplish. One, give you the idea of beginning with the end in mind, that you're going to graduate on time with meeting all the requirements that you wanted to meet and the way you wanted to meet them. And then second thing, I want to give you a little bit of experience working with tables in Word. Tables give you an infinite amount of ability to organize and move information around and make it really useful. So it's something that's worth getting good at. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the big picture, and I want you to pull off of your degree works the total number of hours that you have earned to date, how many hours that you still need to get up to 120, and then figure out the number of semesters that you have left, and then based on these calculations, how many hours you need to take per semester. But this is really helpful to calculate each time you're thinking about taking a new set of courses to make sure you're staying on track and doing what you need to do. So the short story here is I'm sketching out how I want you to do this, then I want you to create this kind of template on your own. Okay, and then what we're going to do is make this little table that has the courses that you're going to take in a given semester. And then we're going to copy that and make it so that you can have, say, 2 years worth of tables for what courses you're going to take in the next 2 years. Now, it may not be that you're going to necessarily take those courses that you lay out in that table, but it's very helpful to think through what you're going to take when, to anticipate different kinds of problems, and to think about different kinds of possibilities. So, for example, in psychology, you can take the internship as your senior capstone class. However, to take the internship as your senior capstone class, you need to get accepted into it, which means you need to apply, which means you might want to apply like in your junior year as opposed to your senior year to know if you're actually going to be able to take that. So that's just one example how it really pays to think ahead and plan it out. So think about planning as a way of learning about the future, not necessarily setting what the future is going to be. Okay, so I got this little table here, and then we're going to copy it and paste it into a bigger table to give us a wider range of, or to give us 2 years worth of slots to fill in. Okay, let me just show you how you would make this kind of table. So I'm just going to remake this table. If I can get the cursor to agree. All right, so I'm going to come up here and insert the table that's going to be 3 wide and I think I made it like 7 deep. How many deep? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm going to first line up the lines. I'm keeping it kind of narrow so I can get several of them on the page. And as we're doing this, I'm going to want you to change it to a landscape view so we can fit a little bit more on the page. Okay, so a few things we're going to fix here. One, you want to have it be fall 2024 and have that be for the whole top. So I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to merge those cells. And then we'll call it fall 2024. As you can see, the font I'm using is a little smaller to make it fit. It's 9. So I'm going to highlight this whole table and move that to the font of 9. Going to come down here, I'm going to say course, why taking, the hours. I'm going to make these bold. And then this last line, I'm going to merge these 2 cells and say total hours. And I'm going to make that bold and highlighted, and then I'm going to right justify it, meaning I'm going to move it over to the right hand side. Whoops, sorry, didn't have it highlighted when I was doing that. Okay, so then I can fill this in. You'll notice this is a little more cramped than this is. In Word, what you can do is highlight the whole thing, go to Table Properties, and then Options. And you will find if you set the top and the bottom to 0.02, that'll make it just a little bit bigger so it's easier to read. Okay, so I'm just showing you how to recreate this little table. Now here's the trick. I'm going to erase this because when you're doing this, you're just going to have 1. Okay, so what I can do to get more of these and to have them fit nicely, I can come up here and I'm going to put in a table of that's 3 by 2, and now I can take this table that I've made and I can come in here and drop it into the bigger table. So I got a tables within tables. I'm gonna maybe give that a little more space. And then I can just copy that, paste, 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 paste. This got wonky. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but somehow the font's off. So let me fix that. Drop that back down to a 9 for font. And I'm going to pull this down a little bit so it looks better. And I'm going to label mine up here. I'm just going to highlight this quick so you can see. But when you do yours, put your name up there. Um, okay, and then one thing you can do to clean this up a little bit is I'm going to highlight this whole thing. I'm going to come up here and I turned off the grid lines. I just highlighted this and then I selected no border, and that way you just have the cells on the inside. Now, if I had been smart, I would have erased these ahead of time. In fact, I might go ahead and do that just so. All right, what I was just I had meant to erase this ahead of time, but I'm just trying to show you how I would like it formatted. So name what the course is, and then explain why you're taking it. So it's required by the major, or if you can be more specific, like it's a major, it's an elective within the major, or it's a core course within the major. It's just a general elective, or it's a specific, it's a gen ed course. But say why you have to take that course. And these are the reasons that I'd like you to use, or something along those lines. Okay, so when you're getting started, this is what it should look like. And I think in the assignment, I'm going to ask you to do, oh shoot, I got to fix another problem. Sorry, I noticed I had not changed my semesters. So fall 2024, spring 2025, summer 2025, etc. Obviously, you should adjust these to wherever you are right now in terms of what's your next semester. All right, so this is going to be part of the assignment that you're going to turn in. We're going to have you do at least the next semester and the one after that in terms of your planning. Okay, those are the 4 things that we worked through. I hope you found those useful. All right, take care.